Welcome back. Have you ever wondered if you need a will? Our next guest says the answer is always yes.
Certified financial planner and president of Shakiba Capital shares 5 reasons why you need a will to stay ahead of the curve. Of a will, and sometimes people might think, well, this is a wealthy person's document. I don't need that.
Yeah, well, and that's my first point is who needs a will? And really the answer is everybody, with almost without exception. And what's really interesting is that this is the most overlooked aspect of financial planning. And usually when I meet with people for that first time, I would say 90% of people have not given any thought to estate planning at all. And as we're going to talk about, that can have some serious consequences, but I do get it. It's not a fun thing to talk about. Right. It's kind of like life insurance because you're talking about your death, but think about your spouse, think about your kids, think about the money and where it's going to go, whether that's charity, church. This is really, really important, and yeah, it's really for everybody.
Okay, so let's say in the absence of a will, let's say someone passes away, you don't have a will. Essentially that person, their loved ones, they lose control of what you have, like where it goes and to whom, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you hit the nail on the head there. It's all about control. So without a will, you lose control, and then who becomes the person in control? It's actually the state. And so that can never be usually a good thing. And the other thing I would add there is don't forget about those ancillary documents like power of attorney, directive to physician. So that's the living will. Bottom line is what do you want to happen? When and to whom do you want to benefit?
Absolutely. It's got to be written down for sure. Okay, and the third point is how much faith do you have in your kids? Because once you're gone, typically that falls to the children.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of sounds funny. Right. And I've seen this a lot. The truth is, and this is a statistic, 85% of inherited IRAs are completely liquidated to zero within 2 years. Now, what does that mean? Well, here's the problem. If you have a $500,000 IRA and it gets passed on to the kids and then it's zero within 2 years, you've added another beneficiary, and that person's name is Uncle Sam. So they're giving away 30+% in that example to Uncle Sam. And so, again, going back to control, I've seen this with clients that are kids of my clients because they don't look at it as their money. It's like it was found, and you wouldn't believe. I've seen it all. They've wanted to start a business, start a bar, pay off their house, buy a mansion, boats, jet skis, everything.
Just blow it.
Oh my gosh.
And it goes back to that control piece.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is such an important topic. I know it's a little bit heavy. Let's talk about the fact that Texas is a community property state. There are so many implications. If you are married, what happens with your spouse after you pass away?
Yeah, exactly. So first, what is a community property state? We should probably define that. But basically that means money earned by either spouse during marriage is owned equally thereafter along with property acquired. So the old joke is that Texas is a great state to live in, no state income tax, great economy, but it's not a great state to die in if you don't have your affairs in order. So just for one example, debts can actually still be owed in Texas as a community property state if your spouse passes away, even if the estate can't pay for it. And so you can imagine if you haven't planned again and thought through that, that's a pretty difficult predicament to be in.
And it's also a surprise for some people because you don't realize how much debt they're in before they pass away.
Yeah. So you just, again, it goes back to that planning, that's actually my final point.
Yeah, and I think communication, obviously, everybody needs to be on the same page, but if you're thinking about financial planning or you've done it and haven't done the will has to be part of the entire plan.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the key components to comprehensive financial planning, those 6 key areas. We were talking about this before, but I would be careful trying to do it yourself. Yeah. Especially in Texas, because I've seen people that have really messed that up. Go to a certified estate planner and probate attorney, someone that specializes in this area. And like we always talk about, if you don't have a financial plan or you don't have a will or any type of estate planning, you need to get one, right? It's really, really important and critical. Don't lose control.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're out of time, but one last question I know the answer to. I mean, what if someone just wants to grab a piece of paper
napkin?
And say, yeah, I mean, people do this. They'll say, like, this is my last will and testament. Does that hold up? Is that effective?
It does, and it's better than nothing. But I would encourage everyone to take that one step further and go to, a certified probate and estate planning attorney.
Trevor, thanks so much. By the way, to connect with Trevor, all you need to do is visit shakibacapital.com. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be right back.